Yes. Good evening. How are you? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Good evening, Professor.
Okay, good. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
All right. All right. See,
Is
everybody
it the
did well on the homework, right?
yeah? Is it chapter seven the quiz upload? Cause I only see the homework, the chapter seven.
You should see the quiz. Hold on one second.
I did not see the quiz. I checked for whole days.
No, you won't see. The quiz is not due till, hold on. The quiz you should see the quiz now. If you go in now,
Okay.
429, 7 p.m.
Oh, it's due on May 4. Okay,
Right.
I got it. Thank you.
Okay. How you enjoying the class?
It's good. I
Okay.
like it. Yes,
Okay.
cause that's for you. You explain a lot.
Okay. Listen, I want you guys to evaluate me. Go on and give me an evaluation. I'm going to ask the class.
Okay, it's on the CUNY website.
Yeah, it should be there. Right. I mean, if you want, you don't have to do it. It's up to you.
Yes, I will. I will do it.
All right. I'll wait for more people to come in. We got
All
about
right.
5 or 6 minutes before we start.
Okay.
And then this is the last chapter, chapter 9. We're going to go over that. And then we're going to finish that. And then once we finish that, we'll start reviewing for everything. And then I'll probably add an additional class, like a Monday night class, just so that everybody can, I want everybody to do well in the class.
So do I have to attend it because I have a Monday class also?
No, you don't have to attend. It'll be recorded, so you can watch it on the recording.
Okay, but I could go back and review it because you get recorded, right?
Yeah, you see, let me show you something. Can you see my screen? Hold on.
No,
You see this right here? Can you see my screen now?
no.
No?
I could
Still?
see you. Oh, okay, I see it now. Yes.
Okay, you see this 3 bars right here?
Yeah.
And you go to recordings.
Okay.
All right?
I see. It's a part. It's attendance part of the score. I mean, like 10% or
No, no,
15%.
but you guys are good. So I'll round it up. So
Okay.
let's say you got 84. I'll round it up to 86,
Okay.
like that. But I'm not rounding 86 to 92. Okay?
I thought 86 round up to 90.
Yeah, no, 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 not like 2 points. That's it.
Okay.
You'll see it. No, but I think I'm very fair.
Yes.
All right. All right. Everybody's coming. Give me a minute. Yes. Hey, what's up, Stevie? How are you?
Good evening, Professor. How are you?
All right, Rosario, how are you doing?
Okay.
So you did well on the homework?
I did. I kept getting one wrong, which doesn't make sense because we had two of the same questions.
Oh, well, that's why I do that sometimes. All right, I'll look at it.
Drove me crazy.
You got it wrong?
One of the two.
Hold on.
And I even tried it. You know how you get like a second opportunity? And I'm like, why?
Let me see. I don't know what you did wrong, but you came up with $30. 30.06. I don't know. I have to look at what you know, I don't know what you did wrong. That's why I do that sometimes. Okay. 90 is
I'm going to
good.
send you
90
a
is
picture.
great. Huh?
I'm going to send you a picture because it's making me crazy.
Absolutely. I'm more than willing and ready to see it. Absolutely. Someone else sent me something. Hold on. Yep. I have to see what you done. What happened.
Good evening, Professor.
Hey, how you doing? All right, Sorrel?
I'm good, Professor. Thank you so much.
All right. You know, Pearson is really a sophisticated system. Very sophisticated. Whoever designed it and whoever is updating it, they do a real good job because they change the numbers all the time. And then sometimes you think you got it, you know, I got this. And then you just make one mistake, you forgot something. You know, I've yet to find them to be wrong. Anyway, I wanted to tell the class that if anybody gets a chance, please give me an evaluation because it's good for me for as far as like knowing what I need to with the chairman and all that. So if you get a chance, I'm not saying you have to do it. Give me an evaluation. All right? Okay. Now, we're going to jump right into chapter 9. Okay? And it's about capital budgeting. Okay? Now, we're going to see some of the stuff that we saw in previous chapters, but in a different way, right? And I'm going to explain it to you. Pay attention. Okay, one more thing. The final is chapter 2, chapter 4, chapter 5, chapter 6, chapter 7, and chapter 9. That's what the final is going to be on. Okay, so write that down. We'll say one more time. Chapter 2, chapter 4, chapter 5, chapter 6, chapter 7, and chapter 9. Okay? And when I might have an additional class, I think I will, on, I'll tell you exactly when. Because school ends on the 14th. I might do the 10th. I'll let you know. I'll see how it goes. See if we need it. And if we do, we're doing it. We're doing it. And I want everybody to go in this exam confident. Very confident. All right. So let's go to chapter 9. And just hear me out. Let me explain. And then we'll talk about how things are. Right? We'll talk about how these things, how it goes. Okay, so here. Okay, so basically what this is that you're running a business. You're running a business and you have to budget. You have to do certain things, right? And what happens is that you're laying out money. You're laying out money, right? The first initial layout. Oh, let me close this window. Okay, you're laying out money. And so what happens is when you lay out money, right, for your capital budgeting, right, the first amount is considered a loss, right? What happens, right? So you buy a piece of equipment for like $10 million, $10.2 million, and it costs $51,000 to transport it, right? So that's the first thing that comes out of your pocket with the company, okay? So what happens is you bought the machine in Brooklyn and you have to move it to Staten Island. You bought the machine in Brooklyn, you have to move it to Staten Island. So the first part, you're going to lose 10,251. Is this the right one? Wait. No, I'm sorry. This one is what you're going to do is we're trying to calculate the incremental earnings, net income associated with the new machine, right? So when you look at this, right? So you have the revenue, 3.9 million. Then you have the incremental cost of 1.2, right? So first thing that happens is that you're making money, right? You have $3.9 million coming in. Now we have cost, we have to deduct the cost from there, which is 1.2 million. Then we have to depreciate the machine going out 5 years. So it's this amount, this 10,000, this 10 million point two, and this 51,000, right? So it's 10,251,000 and then divided by 5. So first thing you're going to do is when you lay it out, you do this first. You do this first, order of operation, right? You do 10.2 plus 51,000 divided by 5, and then you do 3.9 minus 1.2 minus this amount, this division, and then your tax rate. Your tax rate is 35%, so you're going to say 1 times 1 minus 0.35, which is 0.65. Okay? So hear me out again, right? First thing you're going to do is that we're trying to figure out what our annual incremental earnings are, right? So we have a piece of machinery we bought, right? And we are depreciating it for 5 years, right? So what we're going to do, first thing we're going to do, we're going to, when we put this down, we're going to say, okay, we made 3.9 million. That's the machine would generate 3.9 million. That's what we're going to make. But then keep in mind, we have our cost. We have cost, right? To run the machine, to gasoline, wages, and all these things, and where it is located. So our cost is going to be 1.2 million, right? Now, this machine that we bought that's generating this, we'll be able to depreciate it for 5 years, right? Same thing that happened in the beginning in chapter 2, right? It's coming back, like I said, right? Same thing that happened, but in a different way, because remember, businesses are run the same way, but they do different things at times, right? This is a different type of a business. So then we depreciate, we say 2.2 plus 51,000 divided by 5. That's the first thing that we do. Then we do 3.9 minus 1.2 minus what this is. And then we multiply it by 0.65, right? We want to know the marginal tax rate, right? So it's going to be 1 minus 0.35, right? And then once we do that, we multiply it by 0.65, we come out to 422,370. That's our answer. Now, this we're going to. I don't know if the homework shows you. Well, they give you an. They show you the whole thing, which is good. Now, if I were you, I would take a copy of this, right, and keep this for if I see this again. Hint. Keep this because if I see this again. Now, when you're going to do this problem, this is where everybody messes up. When I say everybody, last semester, I think maybe 3 people got this question right, maybe a little bit more, right? You know where they messed up? Right here in the depreciation part, right? They added this. They I don't know what was going on. I don't know where these answers came from, right? But I gathered that this was wrong. So the order of operation, right, is always, parentheses, right? Parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction, right? So this right here is the division. This is what we have to do first, right, in the parentheses, right? And then once we do that, we subtract everything from the 3.9, right? Everything gets subtracted out of this. And then we multiply it by 0.65. Okay? That's how we're going to do this one. Now, you say to me, well, why is this important? This will be something that happens in a real business, right? We bought a piece of machinery. As I said before, we bought it in Brooklyn and we have to move it to Staten Island, right? So it's going to cost us $51,000 to move from Brooklyn. Now, it has to be a huge piece of equipment for it. It's like one of those bulldozers, not bulldozer, I mean a crane, right, for 10 million, 10.2 million. And that crane is going to generate, because we're going to use it to build a building, right? It's going to generate $3.9 million worth of business every year. But at the same time, we have our cost. Now, remember that this right here is not a real cost, right? It's just something to lower our taxes. We put it in as an expense because we depreciate this, right? We're depreciating this, right? And then we have a tax rate. They're not stupid. They're not letting us do the whole 100%, right? And this is the tax rate right here, marginal tax rate. So it comes out to 422,370, right? In the real world, and what we will do, and we come out with this number, then we probably have to add it back in, right? This depreciation amount, because this is not a real cost, right? It's just something to lower our taxes, right? It's going to make us, it's like an expense, but it's not a true dollar expense. It's something that we use in the numbers. So the answer is 422,370. I expect everyone to do well on the homework, but I know the quiz sometimes it's a little it's a little challenging. Okay, so here we have this equation, right? We have 93,000 units, right? So we're going to say times 0.17 and then times 19. That's what's going to give us this 300,390. You're upgrading to better production equipment for your firm's only product. The equipment will allow you to make more of your product in the same amount of time. Thus, you forecast that total sale would increase next year by 17% over the current amount of 93,000 units. If your sale price is 19, what are the incremental revenues next year from the upgrade? So what it's saying is, this is really reality. Now, if anybody in this class was working for this firm, right, and they brought this, not even 17, but 5%, right, more than it was last year, you're going to get a really nice bonus. 17%, you're going to make vice president, right, or managing director, right? What you're doing is you're thinking of ways of enhancing the business, right? But at the same time, you did not add any cost to it, right? You're going to be doing the same thing, but you're going to increase sales. This is what this is doing. This is what capital budgeting is all about, right? We're forecasting for next year, right? That's what it's all about, right? We're going to be making money. So in this situation, you're upping the production by 17%. So you can't use 17%, so we have to convert it into a decimal, right? Now, Pearson does this on purpose. They do this on purpose, right? They know that you should know this should be 0.17, not 17%. And this is where everybody makes their mistake also. If this was on a test. Let me close this door. This is where everybody would make the mistake. They would put 17, and this number there would be highly inflated instead of putting 0.17, right? And this one, what usually kills everybody is they use 35% instead of 1 minus 0.35, which is 0.65. That's where another mistake happens, right? So get familiarized, right? Have your formulas there. Have it like almost like in memory, like a song, right? You know the next verse, right? You know the next verse. And then all of it, no, that's not what they go. Nope, that's wrong. That's wrong. That's wrong. Oh, that's right. Right? And if the number's outrageous, if the number's 422 million or 400 million, whatever it is, you know that can't be right. You know that can't be right. Absolutely wrong. 100% wrong. Right? You know that's wrong. So here, the same thing again, right? So you're going to say 93 times 0.17 and then times 19. And that's 300, 390. Okay. Now, let me make this screen big. This question right here is a question that on the exam, I would say about 65% of people get this wrong, right? 65%. So let's go over this. Coco Mochi is considering the launch of an advertising campaign for its latest dessert product, the Mini Mochi Munch. Coco Mochi plans to spend $5.6 million on TV ad and print advertised this year for the campaign. The ads are expected to boost sales of the Mini Mochi Munch by 10.5 this year and 8.5 next year. In addition, the company expects that new customers who try the Mini Mochi Munch will be more likely to try Coco Mochi other product as well, right? Other products. As a result, sales of other products are expected to rise by 2.3 each year. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the hardest part of this problem, the hardest part, I'm going to put the answers down, right? And I'm going to show you the hardest part. Okay. So they changed the numbers. It doesn't matter because we know the concept. All right. So the first year is 10.1. And then the next year, as a result, sales will rise 1.8 each year. So year one and year two, when you're doing this on the test, it won't allow you to go to year two unless you finish year one. Okay, so you got to finish it, this one. Okay, now listen to me and listen to me well, right? It says the gross profit margin for Mini Mochi is 35, and the gross profit margin for all other product is 20%. I don't want to know, this is not asking you the 35%, it's asking you how much is the cost of good. So it's going to be 1 minus 0.35 for the first year, that answer, and then 1 minus 0.20 for this one, times this one. And that's how you get this number. So let's do it on the calculator together. Okay? So 10,100,000 times 0.65. I don't want to know how much is coming. I want to know how much is going to be charged. What's the cost, right? It's like the sale. I want to know the sales price. So this is telling me what comes off. I don't want to know that. I want to know what's going to be charged. So it's going to be 1 minus 0.35, which is 0.65. So 10,100,000 times 0.65. That's the first thing. You're going to get that answer. You put that answer on a piece of paper somewhere down. The second part is 1.8 times 1 minus 20, right? 1 minus 0.20, which is 0.80. So 1,800,000 times 0.80. And then those two amounts should add up to 8,000,005 as a credit, a negative, because it's the cost. Okay, everybody should come to that number. Then we have the gross profit, right? Remember now, I said these things will come back. Then we have the gross profit. Then it says that we're going to spend 4.2 million. If we're spending, we know it's a negative. We know it's a negative if we're spending. We know that. We know that it has to be subtracted from the gross profit. So it's going to leave us a negative number. Right? Now, this is telling me that it's an income tax of 35%. So I got to take 35% of this. Now, when you're in a business and you lose money, right? You get money back on taxes. You don't get a credit, right? You get money back. So 35% of 305 is 106,750. And then the bottom line is 198,250. Now, anytime you know when a business first start out, most likely the first few years, you don't make any money. You lose money because you're feeling your way out. You lose money because you're feeling your way out, right? So let's start over again with the first part. You put down your numbers, 10.1 for the first year, 1.8, right, for this other sales for the second year. It says it right here. Year one and next year is 8.1. We're not at next year yet. So now what we're going to do, we're going to say 10,100,000, this 35% minus 1 minus 0.35, 0.65 times 10,100,000. We get that answer, we put it to the side. Then we're going to this 1.8, we're going to say 1.8 minus, right? 1.8 times minus 1 minus 20, which is 0.80, right? The answer we get, we put it here. This is the hardest part right here. This part right here, calculating this. Everything else is just simple math, right? And it is. It's not but the thing is that it's a few steps involved, and this is where everybody messes up, right over here, this part right here, right? We know cost of goods has to be a negative because it's a cost, right? Gross profit is what's left. We know expenses has to be a negative, right? And then when we bring this down, earnings before interest and taxes, right? It's a negative. If we're going to pay income tax, if we lost money, this is going to be a debit, right? If we lost money, we know this is going to be a debit, right? This is going to be a debit number, right? 35% of this is 106,750, right? And then we're going to put a negative number here, 198,250. Second part, 8.1, 1.8, we do the same thing. 8.1 times 1 minus 0.35, which is 0.65. So 8.1 times 0.65. 1.8 times 1 minus 0.20, which is 0.80. Right? Numbers we get for both, we put here. And this is our gross profit. The second year, we have no expenses. There are no depreciation in this, right? We bring this number down, earnings before interest and taxes. We made money. We made money. So we have to pay taxes. They're going to charge us. We lost money here, so we're going to get money back. Here we made money, so they're going to charge us. So the tax is going to be negative because we made money. So here this is going to be negative. And then the bottom line is going to be 2,076,750. Right? So this problem to me, and when I check the exams after the fact, right? When I'm looking at them, this is where most of the problem lies, right here. They get all this right. All of this is right. And then sometimes this is wrong. But most of the time, this part right here. They do 35%. They do 20%. That's if I wanted to know how much comes off. That's not what I want to know. I want to know how much it is. How much is the charge, right? I bought a shirt at Macy's. I always tell you this. Always look at it this way. You bought a shirt at Macy's, right? And it's $10. It's 30% off. I want to know how much I'm going to be paying. How much I'm going to be paying. So if I know that it's going to be 70, right? 1 minus 3, 1 minus 0.30 is 0.70. I know it's 70. That's what I'm talking about. Here, this is a straight up income tax, right? This is not a margin, right? This is straight up. So you just take 35% of this. This one right here takes a little practice, right? So let me show you.
Professor, could you explain how to get COGS for year 2 one more time?
Which one? This one right here?
Cost of goods sold. Yeah, how do you get that?
Okay. So 6.3 times 0.79, 0.69 here. So 1 minus 0.31 is 0.69 for this one, right? And then over here, this is going to be 1 minus 0.25, so 1.9 times 0.75. Do it on your calculator now, please. So 6.3, 6,300,000 times 0.69. You're going to get an answer, and then you're going to say 1.9 times 0.75. You add them together, you should come out to 5,772,000.
Yeah, okay, got it now. Thank you so much.
That's all it is.
Awesome.
And it doesn't matter if
Professor?
this changes on. Excuse me? Somebody else said something?
Quick question. Yeah, when we're entering like the negative numbers, do we have to put it in brackets like how you have
No,
it
you
here?
can put it in
Like, do we
minus. You
have
can
to-
put it in minus.
You put the minus sign in front?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make.
Okay. So let's continue. Any questions here, please ask, right? Don't be bashful. Please ask. I'll be more than happy to go over it. Right? So keep in mind the second year, this question is basically going to stay the same. The second year, there are no administrative expenses. None. And it tells you that. When I first started teaching this class, there was a professor that was absent. And this was one of his midterm questions, one of the finals questions that he had. And I said, why did you pick this one? He says, because just about half of the class, more than half of the class get this wrong. I said, oh, okay. But I guess if you go over it a few times, it starts making sense and then you get it. Okay, so working capital is always negative. So if we have a decrease in working capital, what should we do? Remember the other things. Remember the other formulas. If a formula says that it's plus, plus, and negative, but yet something happens where that negative is decreasing, it's a double negative. What should we do?
Add.
You add?
That's right. That's right. That's right. So what do we do here? 1 million plus 200,000 plus
Plus
what?
200,000 plus 100,000.
Exactly. Like this, a double negative. Right? That's what you do. A double negative. Good. One of the things that happens in learning this capital budgeting, right, is the fact that we got to look at it in the sense that when you're looking at problems, right, and formulas, it's reality. It's reality, right? Okay. I'll talk this in a minute. This is what I wanted to touch. I'll go back to the other ones in a minute. This is what I thought we were doing at first. Okay. So look at this, right? You buy this piece of equipment, the same procedure that we had before, right? But this one, you want to do the free cash flow for year zero, meaning when you come out of your pocket. And year zero is always negative because you lost money. You lost money, period, right? So you bought the piece of equipment for $10,300,000 and it costs you $46,000 to transport and install it. So the first year is negative 10,346. The first year.
You mean 1,346?
1,346. Thank you. Right? And then the machine will generate 4.4, cost of 1.5, and then we have the depreciation of 10,346 divided by 5 times 1 minus 0.35, and then times that, the answer, by 5, right? What we get here, right? Because remember, we add back the depreciation. Remember I said that, right? When we come out with a number, we got to add back the depreciation. This is what we really made. This right here is what we put on the books so we can lower our taxes. But if people are looking at our books, they want to see how much we really made. We want them to see this number. right? So here's what happens. First, we do this, right? 4 million minus the cost, right? I know this is first. I know this is first, right? We do 10.3 plus 46 divided by 5, and then 4 million minus 1.5 minus this answer times 0.65 is 540, right? Once we get this cash flow, we gotta add back. We gotta add back the depreciation. So 10.3, first thing we're gonna do, 10.3 plus 46 divided by 5 plus 540, 020. That's our real cash flow. This is to bring down our taxes. This is what we want them to see in our books. Right? It's a little confusing when you first see it, but it'll make sense to you, right? When we know that we have to add back the depreciation. We learned that in chapter 2, right? You probably forgot. But you add back the depreciation because all it is, it's not a real expense. It's just something to bring down your taxes. Yes.
So are these cash flows including the operating, financing, and investing activities?
I can't hear you. Michelle, you got to talk up.
Sorry,
Say that one.
sorry. So the cash flow, is it just including operating activities or
Right.
the
Cash
other?
flow includes everything. Look, it includes everything. It includes incremental cost, right? 1.5. You have your marginal tax rate, right? All these things are included in this, right? But now free cash flow, right? You got to add back the depreciation. You got to add this back because when you're doing your income statement, right? You put this down, right? You put all this. However, when you want people to see how much you really made, right? The income statement will show that, right? You add back the depreciation. You add back.
What's the
Huh?
minus zero?
Oh, those would be like if you were calculating salvage and all that stuff. We're not doing that in this class. You know what I mean by salvage?
Yeah, is it like what's added when there's depreciation?
Right. In other words, what would happen is when this runs out of depreciation, if we sell it. You get it?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. We're not doing that. That you would do in the accounting class or something else. We're not doing that here. All right. So let's do that one more time. So that way everybody is on the same page. The free cash flow for year 1, we're out the money. Like day 1, we're out 10,346,000, right? 10.3 plus 46,000 to move the machine. Now we want to find out the free cash flow, right? So we're going to do everything we've done previously in the other one, but we're going to add back the depreciation. The difference between this one this is the incremental earnings net income associated with the new machine, just the incremental earnings. We're not doing anything with cash flow. So this one is just calculating the annual incremental earnings, right? What we're gonna get, right? As I was saying before, the free cash flow is 10,100,000 and then plus the 53. That's negative. That comes out. The second part is after tax earnings. We do 10,100,000 plus 53 divided by 5, and then we do our subtraction. 4.1 minus 1.4 minus whatever that depreciation amount is. Then we do use our tax rate, 1 minus 0.35, our marginal tax rate. Right, it comes to 435, 110. After we do that, we add back the depreciation. And then we come out to 2,465,710. Now, I'm going to tell you this problem right here. If I was someone who is betting or someone who is taking this class, I would write this down, right? I would definitely write this down, right? Capital expenditures, change in net worth capital, right? And also salvage and all that. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. So those 2 zeros, they're not involved. We're not doing capital expenditures, salvage and all that stuff. We're not into that. So this is what we're doing. So here, I would definitely take a picture of this and keep this around because you're going to see this again. And as I said before, this right here is where the mistake happens. Now, if you remember on chapter 2, we had with the depreciation, right? And I always told you that it's always negative. I always make sure I said that, right? That it's negative. And it's always negative, right? And you add it back in, right? And what happens is when you're doing these things and the pressure is on, right, you're going to make mistakes. But if you have these types of formulas in front of you, right, you would be in better shape than if you did not. So when I have my class on campus, anybody who's ever had my class, right, I allowed a formula sheet, right, and at a page long, I allow a formula sheet, right, because I know no way in hell, excuse my French, that you will remember all this stuff. I know that. I don't care, I know you guys are young and this and that, whatever it is that you think. But a lot of confusion starts to happen when formulas are similar, but they do different things, right? Just like yesterday, on Tuesday, someone asked me, what does the G means, right? And I said, that's the growth rate. And I said, that was the formula we had at the beginning when we were doing perpetuities. I said, it's the same thing here, right? And everybody forgot that, right? So that's the same thing that happens, right? A lot of these things are the same. And here we're following the order of operation, right? We're following the order of operation. Okay, let me move on. All right, so here, this one is very funny. This one is, you could put negatives if you want, but it's doing it where it wants to see if you understand it, right? So we have 5.6, which is sales. Cost of goods sold is 3.360. Depreciation is 300,000, right? So I know those two amounts are negative. The 3.360 cost of goods sold and 300,000, I know that's a negative. Earnings before interest and tax, and then it's telling me your tax rate is 33%. So 33% of this is 640, right? So here I made money, so this is a negative. This is actually a negative. So the answer is 1,299,000. Now, this depreciation gets added back in. And it says right here, network capital, working capital increased from 190 to 300, right? So it's a negative because it's an increase, right? So I have to put negative 110 right here. And that's my answer.
Why isn't cost of goods sold in parentheses?
Why is it what?
Why isn't the cost of goods sold in parentheses?
This one right here, Michelle, they want to see if you get it. You can put it, you know what? I want to see something. You can put it. See if it works when you do it. See if it works. But it looks something like this.
Is a pro forma statement different from an income statement?
What?
In the question, it says complete the following pro forma statement. Is that the same as an income statement?
You could say that, Michelle.
I don't know, just because they look the same and I was confused if they were or not.
Sometimes some of these things, things that they're saying, I don't know if they mean the same. I'm not sure about that, Michelle. If I told you I did know, I'll be telling you a lie. I'm not sure. Free form, pro forma, right? When you look them up, when I first started teaching this class, I would look them up, and basically it's a statement, right? And it gives you everything that's there. And sometimes I'm confused myself why they call it those things, right? The following pro forma, right, statement. I don't know if that's because we're doing it in finance. That's the word that they use in finance instead of saying that it's an income statement. I'm not sure, Michelle. So I really can't answer you. Okay?
Okay, thank you, no problem.
All right.
Excuse me, Professor.
Yes?
Why we added depreciation again after subtracting?
Because depreciation is not a real cost. It's just something to bring down your taxes.
So this is only done for the purpose of calculating taxes.
Right, right. And then you add it back in. Good. This was very confusing when I was doing, when I first started learning this, when we used to do it when we do it in grad school and stuff like that, because I was trying to see why do we need to add it back in, and then what it was is that when someone is looking at your earnings, right? The higher the number, the more attractive you look for investing, for people to invest in your company, right? So when you are reporting your numbers, you add back the depreciation, especially for the public to see. But if you're filing your taxes, right, people don't get to see that, right? Unless something was wrong or whatever it was. But people don't get to see that. So you can, you make your depreciation in there. But at the end of the day, when you are showing your statements to show how much you've made, this and that, you add back. Now look at this one, right? This one right here, this is very good. This is very good, right? The pro forma free cash flow or cash flow income, whatever, right? As you can see, the earnings are 225, right? But this number that you're reporting, you add back the depreciation. You add it back. So that's why it's 327. You add it back. Now, if this was on the test, this is where everybody messes up. They put 225 as the answer. And that's not the answer. The answer is 327. It's 225 plus this 102. Everybody messes up on this. A lot of people, I shouldn't say everybody, but quite a few people. Right? When you get a job and you're working for a firm, right? And I don't care how much technology that they have, you're going to have mistakes. You're going to have mistakes. And then sometimes what happens is if you don't understand the concept of what you're doing, right? One of the worst things when I used to work is people doing things and don't know why they're doing them, right? That was one of the worst things. They just did something because they were told that's the way to do it. They wouldn't sit down and open up the manual and see exactly why they're doing what they're doing. Because if they did, there are a lot of mistakes that they wouldn't be making, right? I don't care how much technology you have, mistakes happen, right? I don't care how much technology, right? We can have the best technology in the world, right? We input the wrong numbers, right? It starts from the top and it just keeps flowing the wrong way. At the end of the day, it's going to be wrong, right? A whole bunch of people sign off on it and the whole thing is wrong. And one thing I'll tell you, when you work on it for a large firm, usually the person that's lowest on the totem pole gets the blame. Because the guy that's in charge, he's going to say that I just signed it because you said it was good and I'm taking your word for it. And he passes it on. That's how it works in the real world. Right? Well, you should have known. He's talking, or she said, you should have known. He or she said, you should have known. The person says, right? That's how it works. So what I'm trying to say is, once you understand the concept, right, of what's going on, then you're able to see. Same thing with the mortgages, same thing with the car lease, same thing with just about the bonds and everything, right? You know that this number can't be right. If it can't be that high, or it can't be that low, right? Because you know the concept. You say, how can this be, right? How can I say that there are only 40 students in Queens College, the whole school? How can that be possible? I made a mistake somewhere. Right? And I reported the numbers wrong. Or how can I say there's only 3,000 students? It can't be. But there are a lot more than that. Way more. And I did something wrong. I got a feeling Hold on. So let me ask the class. I can get it in stereo. Oh, not stereo, because you don't gotta know what the hell that means to me, right? What on earth that means. Here, if you're looking at this, right? How much do I charge the sales, the 8.1? How much is the percentage that goes against it? Anybody? The 8.1. I want to know how much the cost is. What number should I multiply 8.1? 8.1.
32%.
Wrong.
One minus 32%.
There you go. 0.68. See? That's what I mean. That's where the mistake happens. That's what I'm talking about. And the 1.8, how much do I multiply that by?
One minus 21%.
Which is?
0.79.
That's right. That's right. This is what I'm talking about right here. Get in the habit of knowing. Of knowing. Oh, man. Oh, boy. And it changes the numbers all the time. Okay. I wanna see something just for, I wanna see something. Can you guys see this?
Yeah.
All right. Do you remember how to do this? Anybody? No, I can't see that. You got to talk to me. I can't see that. Somebody, I hate this question. Oh my God. Oh, Rosario, you too much. Oh man.
Wait,
Okay,
I remember how to do
I
this.
remember. I remember.
Yeah.
You're the only one. You're the only one in the whole class.
Don't you do 10.19 million times
Uh-huh.
1 minus 3.5,
Uh-huh. And then what?
and then you get a negative.
That's right. That's right. You see how everybody forgot that. What about the second part? What do I do?
You would do 1.99 million
Uh-huh.
times 1 minus 0.35,
Uh-huh.
and then you would also get a negative, I believe.
Good, Stephen. Good. Good. And I just wanted the class to know, see how easy we forget?
Is that on the final?
I don't know. Should it be? Who's talking to me there, Samir? Who just
Yeah.
said that? Yeah, it could be. But you see how quickly we forget? Where's my class? I don't hear anything. Michelle, all of you guys? Hello?
We're here.
We're here.
See how
I'm here,
quickly we
Professor.
forget? Soel,
Definitely.
Beta, see how quickly we
It took
forget?
it took some time to recall.
Yeah, that's what now you see why we need, okay, Nada, all right. Now you see why we need to go over it now?
We could definitely use a nice amount of review days.
There you go. There you go. Now we're talking. All right. That's right. That's right. Okay. All right. On that note, we're gonna call it a night. I'll see you guys on Tuesday. We'll go over the quiz on Tuesday, and then we'll start reviewing. Okay? So I'll see you guys on Tuesday. Have a great weekend.
Have a good night.
Professor, I have
Professor, before
I have a
you
question.
go,
Huh?
Professor,
Yes, Sabrina?
I was wondering, did you get a chance to let us like release the lock on
Oh, I'm gonna do it
the
now. Let me do it now.
midterm?
Let me do it
Yeah,
now.
because I wanted to like go over it and like do a review.
Let me do it now.
Okay, thank you so much. Have a good night.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, Professor. Enjoy the weekend.
All right.
Professor, I have a question. Chapter 7 quiz. When you gonna open?
It's open now.
It's open now, and when it's gonna close?
Before.
Okay, and chapter 9 homework. When it's gonna open?
5-4.
Oh, okay.
Chapter 9, 5-4, and 5-6. I'm sorry I'm screaming, but I can't hear you. Okay?
All right, Professor. Thank you so much.
Okay, you're very welcome.